Well, we'll first need some pork. The pork that I am using is the pork shoulder that I had the butcher cut up for me into um, 2 inch pieces, 2 inch squares, or 2 inch pieces. Um, I like the shoulder because you get some bone with it. You can get some bone with it, and it's the bone is always a nice thing to have, when you're eating, so to speak. But um, and there's the enough skin there also, which is another delectable part of the garlic pork. But so I did maybe about 3 or 4 pounds of shoulder and had it cut up. And so now we're going to proceed to clean these pieces, and before we put them into the solution. Now the first thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to add some water, salt, and vinegar to this bowl and wash each piece thoroughly. Um, once I finish that, we'll go to the next step. But for now, let's get some water, some cold water into this bowl. Get some cold water into here. That's enough. And vinegar. Some vinegar, about a half a cup of vinegar, or maybe a cup of vinegar to 2 cups of water. That's a good ratio. And we'll do also a couple tablespoons of salt. Salt works as an abrasive to get any particles and fat off of the meat. So we're gonna mix this all up and rub it all together and get all that stuff off the pieces of meat, the little bloody parts and everything. And we're gonna run it under the water once I massaged it all and rubbed them all, getting most of the stuff, all of the stuff off of it. And then we're gonna run it under the water and to make sure that it's all nice and clean. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. Probably inspect every piece and get it done, and then we're going to I'm going to go to the next step. So as I move on from step one, I must say the rest of the ingredients are the fine leaf thyme, a bunch of thyme, 4 teaspoons of salt you're going to be adding, a habanero pepper, and also 2 heads of garlic. It's like a half a pound of garlic, 8 ounces, but you can use like 2 large heads, or if you have the ones that are already peeled, you will need to use probably about 14 or 15 cloves or 16 cloves. Yeah, they're about 16 cloves of garlic, and 4 cups of white vinegar. So that's what we'll use to marinate. The garlic and the pepper and the thyme, I'm going to put them in the chopper and just give that a pulse to get it to chop it up. But first, we have to take care of the pork. Now, after I gave it that first wash with the salt and the vinegar. I patted it dry. I try to pat them all dry with a paper towel to get most of that water out of it. So now my next step for the pork would be another wash, another wash, so to speak. So I'm going to add about a cup and a half or 2 cups, about a cup and a half of vinegar into a clean bowl, right? And add some vinegar into a clean bowl. Now I'm going to use the thongs to rinse the pieces off. I'm not going to touch the pork again after this. So I'm going to get my tongs, and we have the vinegar in here, right? And we'll just take the pieces, or we can drop a couple of pieces in there, and we're just gonna rinse them off in this vinegar, the pure vinegar, right? And also, I forgot to mention, your container. The container also has to be very clean. What I do is I rinse it several times with vinegar and water. I just did again, vinegar and water. So because this is where we're gonna put our cleaned pork in. We'll drop this clean pieces of pork that we're washing in the vinegar. We're gonna drop them into this glass bottle, this glass container, where we're going to have everything, all the seasonings and the marinating going on. Okay, so I'll rinse every piece. I'll rinse in this vinegar and put it into the container, and I'll be back with the next step. So here we are. I've rinsed all my pieces, and I've laid them in the jar where they're going to marinate. I've rinsed them all. That's a close fit. Okay. So we do not touch the pork again with our hands. So here's the vinegar, and now I'm going to get my spices blended up, the habanero and the thyme, and we'll mix it into the pork. We mix it with the pork in the bottle. So let me get the blender. So you might see you need some space in order to get the ingredients in there. So what I did, in a nice clean bowl, I just transferred part of the pork back to this bowl, and then now I'll stir in, and I'll add the ground garlic, just the ground garlic, the habanero pepper, and the thyme that I had in the mini chopper. So this seasoning I'm going to put into some in the bottle, and some I have into this bowl here, because I just need to stir it all together. And also I'll be adding the salt at this time, because I want every piece to get some garlic and some hot pepper. I want all the pieces to taste some of this marinating garlic marinade that I have here. So I'll just give this a stir and make sure they all get in contact with the garlic. Remember, we are not touching it again with our hands, so we're using a spoon to get it all mixed together. Same with the ones that I have in here. I just use the spoon to stir it around and get the garlic in there. And if you think you need some more garlic, you don't think it's enough, you can always chop some more in the chopper and add it in here. Okay, so that looks good. So now I'm just going to transfer it all over, and then we'll add the vinegar to it. So here we have it, our marinating pork for garlic pork. It's all set. We have all the garlic and the seasonings in there, and I added the vinegar as much as it could have taken. Then I'm going to cover this with some plastic wrap and an airtight cap, an airtight top. So it will be setting for about 4 to 5 days before we can use it, before we can enjoy this delectable dish of garlic pork. So this is the garlic pork, Guyanese garlic pork. And Merry Christmas. Like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you enjoy this recipe. Thanks for watching.